Yeah, well, let me ask you a question first, Renee, because we made a pretty
Okay, yeah.
big claim for the title of this live, which was um, that you can actually create a year's worth of social media posts in under an hour. And I
We
think
said map.
for
We can
a
map
lot of
them. We
yeah. Not like write all of the social media posts, but map all the social media posts
yeah, create the
in an
plan.
hour
Create the plan.
for a year. Create the plan for a marketer, for a content marketer, or for a social media strategist. That's a pretty big deal because I think one of the things that we struggle with a lot, definitely something I've struggled with as a content marketer, is when I'm working with a client, it actually takes me a long time to understand what the value proposition is, what the client's actually trying to get across, and then craft something around that. And then I'll send something and they're like, oh, that's not quite right. I want to focus more on this. And it's sort of like the goalposts can keep changing with the content plan as
Oh
well.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. Have you had other marketers you've worked with say things like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I mean, this is, and I think this is one of the things that, our licensees are saying that they love about the system is that it kind of, once you create the intellectual property with the ThinkWrap system, it locks the IP in, right? It's locked in.
Yeah.
And you as the marketer and the client are then agreed that this is what the business is about. And with that locked
Mm,
in, then creating the social media, the goalposts aren't going to move anymore because it's like you've agreed this is the thing, and we can see it and it's tangible. I think once you can see it and it's tangible as well, it makes it more real. And I think it's easier then for
yeah.
the client to have that ownership over it as something that's they want to move forward with. And I mean, I don't know, Loz, how have you found that with clients as well? The difference between the clients who have a ThinkWrap system and those who don't.
Oh yeah, they're like the biggest thing has been like, oh, that was really fast. So I can just do things a lot faster. It's like before I'd be like, okay, I need to go and do this. It'd also be for me. I'd be like, oh my God, now I have to go and do this thing and it's going to take forever. And lots of back and forth. And that's not what it's like now. So, like, one of my clients the other day was just like, with everything that we've created, because there's other things we can do with this content creation machine as well, right? But um, she's just like, this is great. This is really great. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yep, I know. It's so good. It's
It's
so
amazing.
easy. And I think for clients who, because a lot of my clients, and I think a lot of marketers are in this boat too, a lot of clients are very, they're time poor. They don't have the time to sit with you and do like one workshops every week, right? They don't have the time
Yeah.
to kind of look at emails every other day to get back to you. So it's kind of like you want to get the most out of them as quickly as you can, so then you can go away and do what you do best. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's been super helpful.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
yes,
that's
now
how I like to do it as well. And just to sort of give people, the marketers of people thinking, am I going to use this with my clients? Is it is really quick, and just sort of let's put a number on that. Like basically, the way that I would do it with my clients is I would do a 1 hour session first, which could be the day before the main extraction, right? That's what we call stage 1, the clarify session. And then I'll extract all 4
Yep,
models in one day, which is about a 6-hour session, right? So within 7
yep,
hours, we've got them to the point where they have their models created, right? Are you doing it all
yep.
in that same way, Loz, or how are you doing it with clients?
So it depends because if I'm working with like a bigger team to kind of go through that extraction process, it's hard to get everyone free for a day. So what I did in
Yeah,
that case is I broke the workshop into two. So we
yeah,
did it over like 2 4-hour sessions. And then with clients that are smaller, it's just going to depend on them. So some are like, yep, let's smash it out all in one go. But I have had one client that was like, can we just chip away at this? Can we just do like one model a week? And that was fine as well. It's not my preference, but I'm like, it was still relatively easy to get through because we were making the most of the time that we had together every time. So, and
yeah,
I think that's the beauty of it, right? Is you can be flexible with that, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You absolutely can be flexible with it. Absolutely. I mean, I think you're more flexible than I am, clearly, because I'm like, no, we're smashing it out in a day. That's how it works. There's my high D coming into play. Like, I'm the boss. We do it like this. But the system itself
Well,
is flexible. It's just me that's not quite so flexible.
And Renee, I feel like we should, I know I know we're going to talk about this, the social media mapping in a second, but I do think it's probably important that we say as well, like, that other people can learn how to do this, right? So, because I think a lot of the content out there from ThinkWrapped is about how to create these models for yourself. You know, the books that are out there and the Craft Your Pitch program is all about how do you create these models for yourself. I remember when I read, I think it's your first book, Game Changer. Is that
That's
your
the
first
second
book?
one. You're right. Yeah, Game
Oh,
Changer
it's
is
the
kind of
second
like
one.
the old version of Get Visual, yeah, before we upgraded the
Yeah.
models. That's when
So
it was.
when I
That's
read
back in the
Game
day
Changer,
when the wrap system was called Sexy Models.
yes, that's right. That's right. That is actually quite on brand for you too.
It is. It is.
So,
But would you want to have right on the screen right now, certified sexy models specialist? It has a
probably
different
not.
ring to it.
Probably not.
Loz.
It does. It does. So what I was going to say though is, like, when I read that, I actually came across that book. I came across your visual models and you, because one of my clients was saying, as he was going through my process, he was finding the visual model like idea like kind of went with it. And I was like, that's weird because we're doing marketing. But then when I started looking at it, I was like, oh, this is actually really, I wish I knew how to do this for my clients, because this would get me all of the stuff I need so I can actually go and do copywriting, so I can go and create content, plan content. And I think that a lot of people might not realize that they actually can become that. Do you want to just explain that a little bit
Yes.
as well?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we are now licensing the ThinkWrap system because, people like you, Loz, who love the system and think, oh, I need to do this with my clients. So, we're running a certification training where we run over 4 days. We do it all online. So you can be anywhere in the world. And we train you step by step on how do you actually create each of these models for your clients. So, we pair you up with a buddy. So you have a client buddy. Say you, Loz, and Stevie are buddies in the training. I'll go, this is how you create a results model, teach you how to do that. And then you and Stevie go off in the breakout room, create a results model for each other, come back, debrief, etc. So it's very much a hands-on learning kind of training. But now, you as a licensee are licensed to do this with your own clients. And I think this is our model for taking ThinkWrap to the world, because it has such massive potential. We can't be personally in all the places at the same time. So this is kind of our way of sharing this system with the world.
No, it's awesome. It's so good. And having done it, I think just under a year ago, definitely can vouch for how helpful it has been for me and my clients. So we're going to just provide some sneak peeks of what it's like once you actually have models to actually get all of this stuff out of your client's head really, really quickly. So I think, Renee, without further ado, shall we talk about
bring
this?
It up. Bring it. And there we go. Is it going to play? That little thing. It's supposed to be a little animated thing, Loz. Here we go. Come on, make it.
I feel like when it's live, it's always going to not work. It's just live stream chaos.
Yeah, live stream chaos. All right, well, let's just say that basically the ThinkWrap system is made up of 4 models. So to create this content super fast using the content creation machine, we're assuming that your client has already got a ThinkWrap system extracted and created, which we've been talking about a little bit now. And now what we're going to do is show you, if you take, say, for example, a model like this that has 6 steps in it. So this is an example of a process model. And if your client has a model like this with 6 steps in it, how does that map out into social media content, right? So let's have a look at that. So one piece of content could be the overview, like, this is my 6-step process to achieving blah, 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 right? That's one piece of content. Then for each of the 6 steps that you saw in that visual, they each become their own pieces of content. So step 1 in my process is all about this, blah, 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 blah. And you talk about that, and that can be extracted into this whole big thing, right? So you do that for each of those steps in the process model. So that now we're up to 7 pieces of content, right? And then under each step, you can get your client to elaborate on, what are pick 3 bullet points from step 1. Like, what are 3 key points under that step 1 in your process that we can now expand on and give more detail on. Each of those pieces of content becomes its own week's worth as well. So you do that same thing under each of those steps. And now we have, 1 being the top, plus 6 plus 18 gives us, that's 25 weeks of content from just that one process model, right? So, and if your client's got a ThinkWrap system, remember, so they're actually going to have 4 models. And so if you multiply that by 4, that's going to be 100 weeks of content. Now, some of your models are going to have less than 6 steps. So let's less than 6 pieces. So say, a target model should have 3 pieces, for example. So that'll give you 13 weeks. So what we're going to do is say, at a minimum, you will have 52 weeks of content from your 4 models and up to 100 weeks of content, depending on how many chunks in each bit. Now, when I share this, Loz, with people, usually their minds are kind of blown, but obviously you've seen this before. So, you're very straight-faced about the whole thing. Insert appropriate reaction.
Well, yeah. And I mean, look, like, I think the thing is as well is, I was also, part of me was going like, oh, I haven't seen this for a while. And I was like, you could also get kind of even more creative with this. And I think this is why, in particular, coming from not to say only, but if you've got a creative sort of marketing background, having ThinkWrapped in your toolkit is actually so useful because it gives you structure to your creativity. So as you were walking through that, I was like, oh yeah. And then for each of those pieces, if you wanted to have, say if you're like, instead of having 1 piece of content a week, I wanted to have 4 or 5. I'm like, you could have a poll go out one day about that point. Then you could have a little video go out about that point. Then you could have a client testimonial that's relevant to that point. So you can actually even do more. And I think that's what's really cool is it's like, once you have the basics, it's sort of like so much easier to play, if that makes sense.
This picks the theme kind of thing for each week. And then you can, exactly as you said, you just, and for those who are content marketing specialists, strategists, right, you're going to see that as you just did, Loz. You're going to see, oh yeah, that's so powerful. It's not just about that one piece of content for that step 1, for example. It's all the things that you can do with that, which gives you that's why it becomes a whole week's worth of content, that one thing, one theme. So let's have a look at, here it is, the unveiling. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, now we're going to spit the model. We're going to, as Stevie's saying, put the model in the machine and let it spit out all the content. So let's show you how it works. This is our 5-step content creation machine, right? So your client's got a ThinkWrapped system. Then what do we do? Okay, so let's apply it now to the social media mapping thing. So step 1 is creating the plan, right? And so this is what we've got. What we have is a template that we use to then take each of the 4 models and map them out into the weekly themes, if you like. So, for this is a results model 1, an answers model 1. Let's look at the process model 1 because we just did that visually, so that's going to be easier for people to follow. But you can see how that's mapped out there. And so, you kind of work out what the topic is for each one. And then you're going to do your sexy title. So as, someone like Loz will be able to come up with an SEO friendly, a properly kind of crafted title that goes in that column that you're going to speak to. And then give your client, you and your client can map out then the bullet points of what are they actually going to say for that, for that piece of content. And so you just do that. You're just going to, in the spreadsheet, map out those 4 things, and that will be really, really quick, right? That's what you can do in an hour, mapping out that 1 to 2 years worth of content very, very quickly because you've already got the IP extracted in the ThinkWrap system. So that's step 1, right? About 1 hour.
Before you go on, can I just point out that you did get sexy into one of your tools still?
I do. I know. I know.
You could have completely let go of the sexy.
It's funny, Loz, because I did look at that the other day and go, should I take that out now? And I'm like, nah.
It's so good. So good.
Nah,
you need a sexy title. It's true. You need a sexy title.
You need the sexy title, the one that's SEO friendly, that's going to catch people's attention. Yeah. Absolutely. You totally need that. Which is not going to be overview of target model is not sexy, right? That's not what you're going to call your week's theme.
Okay, we can go to step 2 now. I just had to point that out.
Yeah. I didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, did I? All right. So then step 2 is what you get your client to do. So once you've got all of that mapping done, you get your client to record a video for each one of those themes. Now, this can be done in a number of different ways. They can do it one a week if you want, but I mean, me as a business owner, I don't like doing one video at a time. I like batch recording, right? So a couple of different ways to go about it. I mean, if it's going to be 50 plus videos that they need to record, they might want to chunk it, right? Because doing 50 videos in a row is a lot. But, we're talking about 1 to 3 minute videos, right? Because this is for social media laws. We're not asking clients to do an hour for each one of these videos, right? We want nice, short, sharp things ready to go for socials. But they don't have to be perfect, right? Because they can be fixed in post. So, you might have to guide and help do a bit of hand holding with your client if they've never done videos before. But essentially, we want them to record video because that's where you can get it repurposed. You can get it transcribed and turn it into the written and the audio and all of that stuff. So get your client to record a video for each of those things. Now, my favorite way to do it is to batch record 13 videos at a time. And if you think about it, it's a 3-minute video. So 3 times 13 is 39. So 39 minutes, right? It takes 39 minutes of recording to create 13 weeks of content for your client. Now, this is why your client's going to love it, because think about it. They can give you everything they need in 1 hour of video recording, right? For a whole quarter. So they're just going to 4 times a year spend an hour recording videos, right? They're going to love that rather than you every week going, so tell me about this thing so I can write about it for your,
Oh, yeah. And Renee, actually, that's a good point, because I know sometimes when I've been talking to prospects, that's one of their fears as well, or one of their objections to doing content marketing. They're like, yeah, but you're going to need me every week to record this and that. So it's a really good point, actually. Really good point.
I know that objection, right? Because especially if we're not using Zoom and I have to put makeup on.
Yeah.
God, I love Zoom. That making me not. Thank you, Zoom, for putting my lipstick on for the last 2 years for me. Too funny. Anyway, so what we want to do is get the clients to record that, right? So, and this is the way that I guide my clients to do it, is I say, jump into Zoom, hit record, they've got their plan there. This is the thing. They are the expert, right? So they don't tell them not to script it. They just want to talk naturally as they do as the expert, right? They're just going to get on and talk about this thing that they know inside out and back to front, because it is their zone of genius, right?
Yeah.
So it should really be, hi, I'm Renee Hasseltine, CEO and founder of ThinkWrap. Today I'm going to be talking to you about blah, whatever the sexy title is, right? And then blah, 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 blah. I'm going to talk about it as I naturally would, with lots of hands because I'm Italian, and add some jazz hands for my 13 years of jazz ballet. And then, you wrap it up with, I'd love to know what you think about that. Say something in the comments, and then stop recording and hit record again and go, right? So the client's just going to pump out those 13 videos for a whole quarter in an hour. Then they're going to give them to you, or, and someone on your team can then do the polishing, which is this bit, step 3, right? So the client's done their bit.
Yeah.
In step 2, 1 hour a quarter of video recording. Then step 3, it can come to your team. And then you as the marketer can do the polishing. You can edit the videos if they've done messed up. Like poor Stevie for 7 years has been editing me going, swearing on video and going, whoops, sorry, Stevie. And then, poor Stevie has to cut that out every time I do that nonsense.
Have you ever had something slip through, by the way?
I don't know. I think Stevie at one point did actually make like a bloopers reel of all of the Renee swearing and saying, whoops, sorry, Stevie.
So can I tell you, I did have one big slip once where I, on a podcast, had said like, oh, this is effing wrong. And like, you can hear me typing and then like talking again, like, so blah, blah, blah. And it went live. And then sometimes I listen to them once they're live. I'm just like, Oh, I don't know if that was a good episode. I'm just gonna have a listen. Like, what can I learn? And I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I've heard it happening to other people too. Anyway, sorry. Polishing
Well,
is
I haven't closely scrutinized because I am one of those, I completely trust Stevie. So I would definitely be just like, once it's recorded and uploaded to Dropbox, it's out of my hands and I'm off, off tools. So, but it just adds to the fun, doesn't it? That could have gone viral, Loz.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's true. Okay, so here's the polishing bit. So, Loz, if we put it in the sort of context of you, for example, if your clients have created this one, no one told you. Oh my God.
No, I know. It was so bad, Stevie. Lucky it was early. It was early on. Sorry, Renee. Keep going.
Yes. So yes, if your clients now recorded their 13 videos, Loz, and they're handing them over to you, your team can do the editing, polishing, then taking this is the great thing about video, right? Is we can get it transcribed, so we can turn it into written content. You can use the audio only if you wanted to, put it into little audio things, podcasty stuff. Who knows? But also you can turn it into memes. You can turn it into polls. You can turn it into all those things that you were talking about before, Loz. That's basically we're taking that video from the client, which that's like the brain dump from the client that we can often struggle to get. We've got that brain dump now in 13 videos. Now your job is so much easier because your job is to just work the marketing magic and make it look amazing, right?
Yeah.
In all the different ways. And how much easier is your job if you've got everything out of the client's head and you're not having to go back and forth over and over again.
And also like tone of voice, Renee, because sometimes you'll write something and you're like, this is on message, but the client's like, I would never use that word, or I would never say it like that. And that doesn't feel like me. So it doesn't feel authentic. And then you're like, okay, so how would you say it? And they're like, I don't know.
It's so true. It's like I've had that when someone else has written a script for me for a video and I've just been like, I can't say that. It'll take me like 20 times to say the one sentence because it's not how I talk.
Yeah.
Or, I just find it really hard to record videos with scripts, but I find it very easy to just talk about stuff that I already know.
Yeah.
So yeah. And that's, I think, if we can get our clients over that hurdle, that's, another thing easier for them. Because, face it, if they're hiring you to do their marketing, they don't have time to do a whole lot of content creation themselves.
No, that's right. That's right.
Faster you can make it for them, the pain, this makes it super painless for them. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So that's step 3 is the polishing. And then obviously then you're going to publish all of that content on all of the different platforms that are relevant for that particular client. And then promote, share, make sure that we maximize and optimize the reach for each of those posts. And boom, that is your 5-step content creation machine applied to how do we create social media content for our clients.
I love it. It's so good. It's so good. And shall we ask people, I know because this is live obviously, but people will watch this after it as well. Your question about what sort of model is that content creation machine model?
Yes, here we go. What kind of model is that? Yes, especially this is a special one for our licensees who should know what kind of model that is.
We will get quizzed. There's going to be an email, isn't there? Like, which one is this?
Stevie says mic drop.
So Renee, for people who are thinking, okay, I want to find out a little bit more about this, we're going to be talking about different applications of this for the next, I think, week, maybe even a little bit longer.
Yeah, so I think we've got one tomorrow and then every day next week.
Around this time, right? Mostly around this time.
Mostly at 9 o'clock. There are a couple of days it was 11 because we scheduled this last minute and had to work around existing commitments. But we have put them in whichever platform you're on. You can see on either Facebook or LinkedIn. We've got them scheduled as well, so you should be able to see what times they're coming up. Stevie says if he answers, he's pretty sure he's cheating. Yeah, you probably are because since he was there when we created the model. But what else?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. So we're going to be talking.
Let someone else go first, Stevie. Don't jump in too quickly.
We're going to be talking about this for online course creation, for book mapping, for elevator pitches, for there's a lot of different.
There's so much you can do with these models in terms of content creation. So it's, I think, for a marketer like you, Loz, it adds so much value to what you can give to your clients, because now you can say to your clients who want to write, oh, you want to write a book? Oh, yeah, I can help you with that.
Yeah.
And that's not going to add a whole lot more work to you. That's just like, you can help them map it out and show them how to do it. And then boom, they can go and do it in the week. And so, yeah, I think it's super, super powerful. And I'm excited to have more licensees around the world using this system with their clients. Yeah. I mean, I'm biased, but I think it's awesome.
So for people who want to find out more about the certification training, where do they go to do that?
Okay, so we're going to put a link in the comments,
Yep.
and that's going to be to watch a little video about how the certification actually works. So yeah, we're going to have Stevie's going to pop a link in the comments to show you where to go to find out more information about that.
Well, I mean, it's good as well, right? Because like, I think, so for me, for instance, like, love the creativity, love the brainstorming, but then it's really grounding to have like, okay, what are we actually writing down? And I think a lot of people are in that same boat, where it's like, okay, I can get all the ideas, but then what do I do with all of the ideas? So I think those templates are going to be really useful.
Yeah, brilliant. Awesome. Yeah, well, I think that wraps up our first one, Loz. I think we did it. Boom.
We did it. Yeah, I think it was great, Renee. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you tomorrow. Which one are we doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're looking at streamlining services. So we're going to be looking at the weekly and monthly program template, but you can also use it for working one-on-one with clients. So it's one-on-one or groups. But in terms of just streamlining, once you've got that ThinkWrap system created, what do we do with that?
Awesome. So we will be live same time tomorrow to talk through that. Renee, thanks so much for your time. I had a lot of fun, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Loz. Bye for now.